Okay, picture this. It's 2 a.m., you're staring at the ceiling, again, and every tick of the clock just feels louder. You're tossing, turning, trying everything to get back to sleep, but nope, dawn breaks, and you haven't had any real rest. Then the next day, you feel like a zombie, just completely drained, dragging yourself around. And the worst part, you mention it, maybe to your doctor, maybe friends, and they just kind of shrug, right? They say, oh, that's just part of getting older, nothing you can do. Well, I'm here today to tell you that poor sleep is just inevitable as you age. It's not just wrong. It might actually be one of the most dangerous myths out there, because this isn't just about feeling tired, not even close. We're talking about serious stuff here, like your brain's cleaning system, the glymphatic system.
That's right.
It literally needs deep sleep to wash away toxic proteins, the kind linked to Alzheimer's.
A crucial process.
And your immune system. It rebuilds itself during sleep to fight off cancer, infections.
Literally central functions.
And your heart. It's repairing tiny bits of damage from, just living. So when your sleep quality tanks, you're not just losing rest, you're losing critical maintenance. Stuff you need to stay healthy, sharp, vibrant. So today on The Deep Dive, we're going deep. We're going to uncover 5 daily habits, things that seem totally innocent, maybe even normal.
Deceptively so.
Exactly. But they are systematically wrecking sleep for older adults. We'll break down these habits, show you the science, and most importantly, explain how fixing them could literally, save your sanity, boost your energy, and maybe even add good years, to your life. Okay, let's unpack this.
It's really vital we tackle this. The idea that poor sleep is just, a senior thing is so deeply ingrained and frankly so harmful. Segments of the sleep industry, perhaps unintentionally, sometimes reinforce this. They might focus on quick fixes instead of root causes.
Right.
But it leads people to just accept lying awake, feeling exhausted all the time as their new normal. And it's not. What's fascinating here is these everyday habits, they don't just make you tired. They actively fragment your sleep cycles, particularly deep sleep and REM sleep.
The really important stages.
Precisely. And this fragmentation accelerates cognitive decline in ways that honestly would shock most people if they understood the neurological impact, especially after 65. It really comes down to a choice, often an unconscious one, between habits that lead towards, a kind of slow decline versus habits that support vibrant longevity. It's that significant.
Okay, let's jump right into the first one. The first major sleep destroyer. And like you said, it's probably sitting right there in your living room, glowing.
Mm-hmm. The TV. Or the tablet, the phone.
Yeah, we think of it as winding down, relaxing before bed. But is it actually doing the opposite? Rewiring our brains. Tell us about this thing called cognitive arousal disorder. What's going on there?
So absolutely. It's a multi-pronged attack on sleep, really. First, think about the content. You're watching the news, maybe a tense drama, or even just scrolling through stimulating social media feeds within, say, 3 hours of bedtime.
Which most people do.
Exactly. Your brain interprets this input, the emotional stuff, the rapid changes, as a signal that something important is happening, that you need to be alert.
Fight or flight.
Pretty much. It triggers the release of stress hormones. We're talking cortisol, adrenaline. These are designed to keep you awake, focused, ready for action.
Okay.
But here's the kicker. These hormones don't just disappear when you turn the screen off. They keep circulating for hours. Your nervous system stays in this state of high alert even if you feel tired physically. Your internal alarm is basically stuck on.
Wow. Okay, so it's the stress response. But you also mentioned something else, the light itself.
Yes, and this is huge. The blue light emitted by these screens, it's a specific wavelength that basically tells your brain, hey, it's daytime.
Even if it's 10 p.m.?
Precisely. It does this by directly suppressing the production of melatonin. Melatonin is your body's natural go-to-sleep hormone. It signals darkness, time for rest.
And the screens block that signal.
Significantly. Studies show that just 2 hours of blue light exposure before bed can delay your natural melatonin release by up to 3 hours.
3 hours? That's huge.
It is. So you finish your show at 9 p.m. feeling maybe a bit drowsy, but your brain, it might not even start producing melatonin until midnight or even later.
So your body clock is just completely thrown off.
Completely reset every single night. You're essentially telling your brain it's midday, right when it should be preparing for deep rest.
So it's the stress from the content and the light messing with our biology.
Okay.
So for someone lying in bed then, what does this feel like? This high alert state plus no melatonin.
It manifests as what researchers are calling hypervigilance. It's that feeling where you're in bed, you're tired, but your mind just won't shut off.
Facing thoughts.
Exactly. Racing thoughts,
Yeah.
random worries popping up, replaying conversations. Your brain is still scanning, still on, because of that lingering hormonal effect and the disrupted melatonin cycle.
That classic 2 a.m. wide awake feeling.
That's often it. It's not always intense anxiety. Sometimes it's just an inability to mentally wind down. Your brain's been overstimulated, and it's almost forgotten how to transition smoothly into sleep. That's cognitive arousal disorder in a nutshell.
And the irony, as you said, is we turn to the TV to relax.
It's a tragic irony. We seek relaxation, but we're actually bathing our nervous system in stimuli that actively prevent the very rest we crave.
Wow. So when you put it like that, you're potentially sacrificing 6, 7, 8 hours of really good restorative sleep for just, what, 2 hours of TV?
That's the trade-off people are making, often without realizing the true cost.
That trade looks incredibly steep now. Okay, let's move to the second silent sleep destroyer. This one feels so normal, especially for seniors. Maybe even necessary.
Ah, the nap.
Yes, daytime napping. We've all felt that afternoon slump, right? You're just wiped out. And a quick nap seems like the perfect solution. Natural, even. But what's the hidden downside? How is that nap potentially stealing nighttime sleep?
This is such a crucial point because napping feels so good in the moment. But to understand why it can be problematic, we need to talk about something called sleep pressure.
Okay.
Think of it like this. The longer you stay awake, the more a chemical called adenosine builds up in your brain. Imagine it like water slowly filling a bathtub all day long.
Building up, building up.
Exactly. The fuller that bathtub gets, the drowsier you feel. That's the sleep pressure. It's what naturally drives you towards deep, consolidated sleep at night. It's your body's built-in mechanism.
Makes sense. So where does the nap fit in?
Well, when you take a nap, especially the longer one, you're essentially pulling the plug on that bathtub. You're draining away that precious adenosine, releasing the sleep pressure.
Ah, so you have less pressure built up for nighttime.
Precisely. And for seniors, this can be particularly tricky. Often, it's not just a quick 15-20-minute power nap. That short rest can easily turn into 60 minutes, 90 minutes, sometimes even longer. They might fall into quite deep sleep during the day.
The dreaded sleep inertia.
Right, you wake up groggy, maybe even more tired. But the bigger issue is that this substantial daytime sleep completely disrupts your natural circadian rhythm, your internal body clock.
You used the analogy of a finely tuned orchestra before. How does the nap mess with that?
It's like this. Your circadian rhythm coordinates everything, hormone release like melatonin and cortisol, your body temperature fluctuations, brain activity patterns, all timed perfectly, like a symphony.
Yep.
A long daytime nap is like the trumpet section suddenly deciding to blast a fanfare right in the middle of a quiet violin passage. It throws the whole thing off.
Chaos in the orchestra.
Total chaos. Melatonin release gets delayed at night. Cortisol might spike at the wrong times. Your body temperature might not dip when it needs to signal sleep onset. All these crucial elements for consolidated nighttime sleep get thrown out of sync. So, come bedtime, your body just isn't ready. It becomes much harder to fall asleep and stay asleep.
And this leads to that feedback loop you mentioned.
Exactly. This is the insidious part. You sleep poorly at night, maybe because of the nap, maybe other habits too. So you feel tired the next day.
Naturally, you want a nap.
Right. So you nap longer or more often, which then drains more sleep pressure, further disrupting your circadian rhythm, making the next night's sleep even worse.
It's a downward spiral.
It really is. So many seniors get trapped in this cycle of daytime fatigue, leading to naps, leading to poor nighttime sleep, leading back to more fatigue. They're stuck, often for years, feeling chronically exhausted and blaming it solely on age, never realizing the nap is a major contributor.
That sounds incredibly frustrating. So what's the alternative? If someone feels genuinely wiped out in the afternoon and they've always napped, just suffer through it.
Not necessarily suffer, but redirect. Acknowledge the fatigue, but instead of hitting for the couch, try something else. A short, brisk walk outside, even 10 minutes. The natural light is great for reinforcing that circadian rhythm.
Okay, a walk. What else?
Drink a large glass of cold water. Do some gentle stretches. Maybe engage your brain with something mildly stimulating but not stressful, like a crossword puzzle or reading a physical book, not on a screen.
Right.
The key is to push through that temporary dip without actually falling asleep. You want to preserve all that wonderful sleep pressure for when you need it most.
About there.
Bedtime. It takes a bit of discipline at first, absolutely, but the improvement in nighttime sleep quality can be dramatic.
Worth the effort then. Okay, habit number 3. This one is woven into the fabric of our daily lives, isn't it? So much so that suggesting cutting back feels almost radical.
You're talking about caffeine.
Caffeine. Not just the morning cup, which most people think is fine, but the hidden sources. The afternoon tea, that piece of chocolate after dinner, maybe even decaf coffee, which often isn't truly caffeine-free.
And medications, too. Some common ones have caffeine.
Right. How is this seemingly essential substance messing with sleep, especially as we get older?
Okay, here's the absolute key takeaway about caffeine and aging. Your body's ability to process it, to metabolize it, slows down significantly as you get older, dramatically.
How much slower are we talking?
The half-life, that's the time it takes your body to eliminate half the caffeine consumed, can nearly double for someone who's, say, 65 compared to someone who's 25.
Double. Wow.
Yes. So that cup of coffee you enjoyed at 2 p.m., it could still be having a significant physiological effect at midnight or even later.
So let's make that concrete. If I have a typical coffee, maybe 200 milligrams of caffeine, around lunchtime, say noon, what does that mean for my sleep if I'm 65?
Okay, noon, 200 milligrams. With that slower metabolism, you could easily still have 100 milligrams of caffeine circulating in your system at midnight.
That's like drinking half a cup of coffee right before bed.
Effectively, yes. And even if you don't feel buzzed or jittery anymore, because you might build a tolerance to that feeling that caffeine is still chemically active in your brain.
And what's it doing back there?
It's actively interfering with your sleep architecture. It makes it harder to fall asleep, yes, but more importantly, it fragments your sleep and reduces the amount of time you spend in the most restorative stages. Deep sleep, or slow-wave sleep, and REM sleep.
The brain cleaning and memory stages.
Exactly. Caffeine acts like a bouncer, constantly nudging your brain towards lighter stages, preventing it from settling into those deep, crucial cycles where the real repair work happens.
Okay, so it messes with sleep depth. Is there anything else? You mentioned something about it being particularly dangerous for seniors?
Yes, there's the diuretic effect. Caffeine makes you need to pee more.
Ah, the nighttime bathroom trips.
Precisely. For seniors who might already have some bladder sensitivity, caffeine significantly increases the likelihood of waking up multiple times during the night to use the restroom.
Fragmenting sleep even more.
Exactly. Each awakening breaks the continuity. You might technically be in bed for 8 hours, but if you're getting up 3-4 times, the actual quality of that sleep is terrible. It's chopped up, non-restorative. It's like that burglar analogy you used.
The one sneaking in and flicking lights on all night.
Yes. Even if you fall back asleep quickly, the overall structure and benefit of the sleep period is compromised. You wake up feeling like you barely slept, even if you were in bed for a long time.
That makes so much sense. It explains that unrefreshed feeling. But what about that person who feels they need the afternoon caffeine because their sleep is already bad? That cruel paradox you mentioned earlier.
Right, that's the trap. Over time, you can develop a tolerance to caffeine-stimulating effects during the day. You don't get that same energy kick anymore.
So you think it's not affecting you?
Exactly. You think, oh, that afternoon coffee doesn't bother me. But here's the paradox. While your tolerance to the alertness goes up, your sensitivity to its sleep-disrupting effects often remains, or can even increase with age.
So it keeps you awake at night, even if it doesn't wake you up during the day.
Precisely. Which leads to worse sleep, which makes you feel more tired the next day, which makes you reach for more caffeine.
Another vicious cycle.
A classic one. So how do you break it? The single most effective step is a strict caffeine cutoff time. For most older adults, that really needs to be noon, 12 p.m.
No caffeine after lunch. Period.
Period. And that includes everything coffee, obviously, but also black tea, green tea, many sodas, energy drinks, chocolate, especially dark chocolate, and check your medications.
Read those labels carefully.
Absolutely. If in doubt, assume it has caffeine and avoid it after noon. It might be tough for the first few days as your body adjusts. You might get headaches.
Withdrawal.
Yes, but push through. The long-term improvement in your sleep quality and consequently your daytime energy and clarity will be well worth it.
A really critical point. Okay, let's tackle habit number 4. This one, it feels different. It comes from a place of trying so hard to do the right thing to get healthy sleep, but it backfires spectacularly.
Ah, yes. The battle in the bedroom.
Exactly. Lying there wide awake, tossing, turning. You glance at the clock, 2:17 a.m. You start calculating, okay, if I fall asleep now, I'll only get...
The sleep math. Always counterproductive.
Right. And you're trying to force it, trying to will yourself to sleep. What people don't realize is that doing this night after night is actually training your brain to do the exact opposite of sleep.
You're basically teaching your brain that your bedroom is a place for anxiety and frustration, not rest. Sleep scientists call this conditioned arousal.
Conditioned arousal. Okay, break that down.
Think about basic conditioning, like Pavlov's dogs associating a bell with food. It's similar, but unintentional and negative. By repeatedly lying in bed, feeling anxious, stressed, and awake, you inadvertently train your nervous system to become alert and activated every time you get into bed.
So the bed itself becomes a trigger for wakefulness.
Precisely. It's the opposite of what you want. Your bed should be this cue for your body to relax, wind down, prepare for sleep. Instead, it becomes a cue for, oh no, here we go again, another night of struggle.
And there's actual physiology behind this, hormones again.
Yes. When you lie there awake and getting frustrated for more than, say, 20 minutes or so, your brain starts releasing those stress hormones, again, cortisol, norepinephrine.
The fight or flight ones?
The very same ones.
Yeah.
Which, of course, make it even harder to fall asleep. It becomes a vicious cycle right there in the moment. The longer you lie there trying, the more awake and agitated you become.
So you're literally wiring your brain to associate bedtime with stress.
That's exactly what's happening. Night after night, you're reinforcing this connection, making it harder and harder to naturally drift off.
That sounds utterly draining, just this constant mental battle when you should be resting. What does that do to your confidence about sleeping?
It destroys it. This is one of the saddest consequences. We call it the erosion of sleep confidence. You start to lose faith in your own body's ability to sleep naturally.
Which probably makes it even harder.
Immensely harder. It leads to what we call performance anxiety around sleep. You become so afraid of not sleeping that the fear itself becomes the primary thing keeping you awake.
Like stage fright, but for sleeping.
Exactly like stage fright. The harder you try to perform in this case, sleep, the more your anxiety spikes and blocks the natural process. Sleep isn't something you achieve through effort or willpower. It's something you have to allow to happen.
Through surrender, you said.
Yes, through surrender.
Yeah.
And lying there, fighting it, checking the clock, getting frustrated, that is the absolute opposite of surrender. It turns your potential sanctuary into, well, a kind of torture chamber of wakefulness.
Wow. So what's the alternative then? If you're lying there, 20 minutes have passed, you're wide awake, what should you actually do?
This is probably the single most important behavioral change for insomnia. If you're not asleep within roughly 20 minutes, or if you wake up and can't get back to sleep within that time frame, get out. Oof.
Get out, even if it's cold or you don't want to.
Yes. You have to break the association between your bed and frustrated wakefulness. Go to another room. Keep the lights very dim, warm light.
Okay, and do what?
Something quiet and boring. Read a dull book, a physical book, no screens. Listen to some very calm, maybe instrumental music. Fold laundry, do a simple jigsaw puzzle. Meditate or do some gentle breathing exercises.
Nothing stimulating.
Absolutely nothing stimulating. No news, no work emails, no engaging conversations. The goal isn't to do something fun. It's just to distract your mind gently until you feel sleepy again. Genuinely drowsy, like you could nod off in the chair.
And only then go back to bed.
Only then. If you get back in bed and still don't fall asleep after another 15, 20 minutes, repeat the process. Get up again.
It sounds tough, but it's about retraining the brain.
Exactly. It takes discipline, but it's incredibly effective at breaking that conditioned arousal and reestablishing your bed as a place solely for sleep.
A powerful strategy. Okay, let's move to the fifth and final habit. You said this one is often overlooked, but potentially devastating. And it happens before we even get into bed.
Yes. We're talking about late night eating. Eating large meals or even significant sugary snacks within about 4 hours of your planned bedtime.
4 hours? That seems like a long time. Most people probably eat dinner closer to bedtime than that.
Many do. And it seems harmless, right? You feel hungry, you eat. But physiologically, it triggers a whole cascade of events that make deep restorative sleep much, much harder to achieve.
Okay, what's happening inside?
First off, digestion itself takes energy. When you eat a substantial meal close to bed, your digestive system has to work hard. This process actually generates heat, raising your core body temperature.
And that's bad for sleep.
It is, because one of the key signals for your body to initiate sleep is a slight drop in core body temperature. So, eating late raises your temperature right when it should be falling. This mismatch can delay sleep onset and lead to lighter, more fragmented sleep. You're sending conflicting signals.
Okay, temperature. What else?
Hormones again, particularly insulin. When you eat, especially carbs or sugars, your body releases insulin to manage the resulting blood sugar spike.
And insulin.
Insulin is fundamentally an alerting hormone in this context. It tells your body, hey, fuel's coming in, time to process it, stay active. So that snack you thought might make you sleepy It's actually sending wake-up signals throughout your system.
It's like throwing logs on the fire right before you want it to die down.
That's a perfect analogy. You're fueling the system when it should be powering down for rest and repair.
So temperature goes up, alerting hormones are released. What about the blood sugar itself through the night?
This is the really insidious part, and a very common cause of those 2 or 3 a.m. awakenings where you feel suddenly wide awake, maybe anxious or with your heart pounding.
What's causing that?
After you eat late, your blood sugar goes up. Insulin works to bring it down. But sometimes, especially after sugary or high-carb snacks, you can overshoot, causing your blood sugar to crash a few hours later, deep in the night.
A crash.
Yes. And your body perceives a rapid drop in blood sugar as an emergency, a stressor. So what does it do? It releases stress hormones, cortisol, and adrenaline again to quickly bring your blood sugar back up.
And those hormones wake you up.
They jolt you awake. Suddenly your heart's racing, your mind is spinning, you might feel anxious or agitated, and you have no idea why. It was the blood sugar crash and the resulting hormonal surge, triggered by that late-night meal hours earlier.
Wow. That connects a lot of dots for people, I bet.
And this effect can disrupt your sleep architecture, reducing deep and REM sleep for hours after the awakening, even if you manage to drift back off.
And is this worse for seniors?
Generally, yes. Metabolism tends to slow with age, meaning food takes longer to digest. Blood sugar regulation can also become less efficient, so those blood sugar swings can be more pronounced and last longer into the night, potentially wrecking sleep for 6, maybe even 8 hours after that late meal or snack.
So the result is that night of restless, broken sleep, and then feeling foggy and just off the next day.
Exactly. It impacts your mood, your concentration, your energy, everything, all potentially stemming from that seemingly innocent late dinner or bedtime snack.
Okay, so we've covered these 5 habits. Screens before bed, daytime napping, caffeine late in the day, lying in bed awake, and late night eating. Now, this is where it gets really crucial, isn't it? They don't just add up, they multiply.
Precisely. This is what we call compound sleep disruption. These habits rarely exist in isolation. They interact, creating a kind of perfect storm that absolutely decimates sleep quality. The combined effect is far, far worse than any single habit on its own.
Can you walk us through that typical disastrous scenario again? How they might all combine?
Sure. Let's imagine someone. They finish dinner, maybe have a cup of tea with caffeine, and settle down to watch TV until 10 or 11 p.m.
Okay, so blue light, stimulation, caffeine still active.
Right. Melatonin suppressed. Cortisol may be slightly elevated. Then, because they consistently sleep poorly, they took a long nap that afternoon.
Draining the sleep pressure.
Exactly. So now they get into bed, but they're not feeling that natural, heavy drowsiness. They lie there. The TV stimulation might still be buzzing in their brain. The caffeine's still subtly active. Their circadian rhythm is off from the nap.
So they can't fall asleep.
Right. They start clock watching, getting frustrated. Why can't I sleep? Stress hormones start to rise from the frustration itself.
Conditioned arousal kicking in.
You got it. Then, maybe after an hour or two of tossing and turning, feeling stressed and awake, they think maybe a snack will help. They get up, eat some cookies or ice cream.
Triggering digestion, insulin, raising body temp, setting up for a blood sugar crash later.
The final nail in the coffin for that night's sleep. They might eventually fall into a light, unsatisfying sleep, only to be jolted awake at 3 a.m. by that cortisol surge from the blood sugar crash.
It's a complete system failure for sleep.
It is, and this isn't some extreme, rare scenario. Variations of this happen night after night for millions of older adults. Each habit makes the others worse, trapping them in this cycle.
And the cumulative effect isn't just feeling tired. It's literally, as you said, accelerating aging, increasing disease risk, taking years off their lives and quality out of their days.
It is. And the tragedy is most people caught in this cycle have no idea these seemingly small, normal habits are the root cause.
And worse, sometimes their doctors don't investigate these lifestyle factors either, just dismissing it as normal aging.
Unfortunately, that does happen due to time constraints or lack of specific sleep training. Yeah. But here's the really empowering part, the message of hope.
Yes.
Every single one of these 5 sleep-destroying habits is completely within your control to change.
You don't need a prescription. You don't need expensive gadgets.
No. The solutions are essentially free. They don't require massive amounts of time. They just require understanding and conscious adjustments to your daily routines. And the impact can be felt remarkably quickly, often within days.
Can we paint a picture of what that transformation looks like? What's possible?
Absolutely. Imagine, truly imagine, getting into bed and feeling that pleasant, natural drowsiness wash over you within minutes.
Falling asleep easily.
Yes. and then sleeping soundly, deeply, right through the night. No 3 a.m. wake-ups with a racing heart.
Waking up naturally.
Waking up feeling genuinely refreshed, like your body and brain actually reset, feeling alert, clear-headed, with stable energy that lasts throughout the day.
No more zombie mode.
No more zombie mode. Imagine having the mental focus to read, to learn, to engage in conversations without that constant brain fog. Having the physical energy to go for walks, play with grandkids, pursue hobbies, feeling emotionally balanced and resilient because your nervous system has had a chance to properly restore itself.
It sounds incredible, especially for someone who struggled for years. Is it truly realistic for seniors, though? Can we really regain that kind of sleep quality?
Yes, emphatically yes. The science is clear on this. Healthy seniors can achieve sleep quality comparable to people decades younger if they remove the obstacles interfering with sleep.
So age itself isn't the main barrier, it's the habits.
Age brings changes, yes, but it doesn't automatically doom you to poor sleep. It just means you need to be more mindful of these lifestyle factors. Your body fundamentally wants to sleep well. It's designed for it. When you stop actively disrupting the process with these habits, the natural ability often returns quite powerfully.
And remind us again why this deep sleep is so critical beyond just feeling good, the brain cleaning.
Yes, that glymphatic system. It's like a power wash for your brain that only runs during deep sleep. It clears out metabolic waste, including those amyloid plaques linked to Alzheimer's. These 5 habits directly sabotage that process by preventing you from getting enough deep sleep.
So restoring sleep helps protect against dementia.
It's a major factor. But also, deep sleep is crucial for immune function producing cytokines and T cells to fight infections and even cancer. It's vital for heart health, allowing blood pressure to dip and heart muscle to repair. It's when growth hormone is released for cellular repair throughout the body. You're literally rebuilding and detoxifying yourself during deep sleep.
So fixing sleep isn't just about sleep, it's about fundamental health and longevity.
Absolutely. And the speed of improvement can be really motivating.
How quickly can people expect to see changes?
Within the first week of consistently applying these changes, most people notice significant improvements in daytime energy, mood, and mental clarity. It can be quite dramatic.
A week? That's fast.
It can be. Within a month, the changes are often so noticeable that family and friends might start commenting, "You seem so much brighter, you have more energy." And within about 3 months, it can feel like a complete transformation. Stable energy, reliable sleep, a level of vitality many thought was gone for good.
That's incredibly hopeful, but you also mentioned a sense of urgency.
Yes, and I want to be candid here. While improvement is possible, the window isn't infinite. Chronic sleep deprivation does take a toll. It accelerates the aging process at a cellular level and significantly increases the risk for virtually every major chronic disease: heart disease, diabetes, stroke, dementia, cancer, depression.
But acting sooner is better.
Much better. Every night of poor sleep is a missed opportunity for vital repair and restoration. This isn't about fear-mongering. It's about understanding the stakes. Changing these habits is an investment in preserving your health, your independence, and your quality of life for as long as possible.
It really comes back to that beautiful truth, doesn't it? Your body knows how to sleep. It wants to sleep well.
It's inherently designed for it.
We just need to stop getting in its way, stop interfering with these habits, and start supporting its natural processes.
Get out of your own way. Exactly.
Okay, so let's get practical. The action plan. People listening right now may be feeling hopeful, maybe a bit overwhelmed. What can they start doing tonight? Because like you said, every night counts.
All right, let's break it down. 5 key actions starting today. Number 1, media curfew. At least 2 hours before your intended bedtime, turn off all screens. TV, tablet, phone, computer, done.
2 full hours. What if they need light?
Use very dim, warm light only. A low wattage bedside lamp, maybe even read by candlelight if safe. No bright overhead lights, no blue light. Let your brain get the darkness signal.
Okay, step 1, screens off 2 hours before bed. Step 2.
Eliminate afternoon and evening naps completely. Starting today.
Cold turkey?
For most people, yes. You need to build that sleep pressure for nighttime. If you feel tired during the day, remember the alternatives. Short walk outside, glass of water, light stretching. Do not lie down. Save the sleepiness for bed.
Got it. No naps. Number 3.
Caffeine cutoff. Noon, 12 p.m. is your absolute deadline for any caffeine intake. Coffee, tea, black green, chocolate, certain sodas. Check medication labels. Assume it has caffeine if unsure. Avoid it after lunch.
Crucial for older adults with slower metabolism. Okay, noon cutoff, number 4.
The 20-minute rule, or out of bed if awake. If you get into bed and you're not asleep within about 20 minutes, get up.
Right.
Or if you wake in the night and can't fall back asleep within 20 minutes, get up.
Get out of bed. Go where? Do what?
Another room. Dim, warm light only. Do something quiet and boring until you feel genuinely sleepy again. Read a dull physical book. Listen to soft music. Fold laundry. Then, and only then, return to bed. Never lie there fighting it.
Break the bed frustration link. Okay. And number 5.
Stop eating late. Finish all meals and significant snacks at least 4 hours before bedtime. Give your digestion time to settle. Let your body temperature drop naturally.
4 hours? What if someone feels they must have something?
If absolutely necessary, make it very small and focus on protein or healthy fat, not carbs or sugar. A few almonds, a small piece of cheese, a spoonful of plain yogurt, something minimal that won't spike blood sugar, but ideally, nothing.
Okay, those are the 5 core habit changes. What about setting up the environment and routine more broadly?
Great point. Consistency is king. Set a regular bedtime and wake time and stick to it as much as possible 7 days a week, even weekends. This anchors your circadian rhythm.
Predictability.
Yes. And make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary. Cool aim for 65, 68 degrees Fahrenheit, around 1820 Celsius. Dark, use blackout curtains, cover LEDs. Quiet earplugs or a white noise machine can work wonders. The bedroom is for sleep and intimacy only. No work, no screens, no stressful conversations.
In a wind-down routine.
Essential. Give your nervous system 30, 60 minutes before bed to transition. Gentle stretching, a warm bath. The cooling down afterwards helps trigger sleep. Reading a physical book, deep breathing, meditation, listening to calm music. Find what signals relax to your body.
Create that ritual. How can people track if this is working?
A simple sleep journal can be really helpful, especially for the first couple of weeks. Just jot down bedtime, estimated time to fall asleep, number of awakenings, wake-up time, and maybe a 1 to 5 rating of how rested you feel.
See the patterns.
Exactly. It builds awareness and helps you fine-tune. And one more tip. Don't try to be perfect overnight. Maybe start with just 1 or 2 habits. Focus on the screen curfew and the caffeine cutoff first, for example. Master those, feel the benefits, then add the others. Gradual change is often more sustainable.
That makes sense. Tackle 1 or 2, build momentum. The key message here seems to be empowerment, right? You can control this.
Absolutely. You have far more power over your sleep than you've likely been led to believe.
Sleep doesn't have to decline with age. It can genuinely get better if you work with your body, remove these obstacles.
Tonight really could be the start of much better sleep. But it requires taking that first step, making that conscious choice to change one of these habits.
Your energy, your clarity, your health, maybe even your longevity, it's all connected to this.
It truly is. Which brings us back to that fundamental choice, doesn't it?
The final question.
Yes. Will you choose the familiar comfort, however temporary, of these old habits that you now know are disrupting your sleep and health? Or will you choose the potentially profound, lasting transformation that comes from aligning your lifestyle with your body's deep, innate need for restoration and renewal? The power to choose and the power to change rests entirely with you.